Okay, the session recording started, and we are back. Okay, let's go through it. Let's continue our journey. Now, in the next lesson, we'll learn about Azure architectural components, regions and availability zones, subscriptions and resource groups. Now, these are all the building blocks of Azure cloud. Compute and networking, uh, different types of compute options. What we have, virtual networking, storage, identity and access, identity access and security. That's more about identity management. That's Mr. Asif's domain. So he can definitely guide us in if we are missing anything. Okay. Now, before we continue with this, let me just recap a little bit. I need to see how well you've understood the different cloud models and the service models. I'm going to start sharing the other machine with a whiteboard, and I need your confirmation if it is visible.
Yes.
Just 1%. That's
Yes,
enough.
yes.
Good. Okay. Right. Okay. So the objective is to make sure that you understood the different cloud deployment models as well as the different service models what we have. Okay. I'm just going to draw one diagram. So there'll be the floor will be open for your questions and answers. And then let's do something. This is my data center. I'm having my on-prem data center, or it can be co-located as well. It's one and the same. The only difference is that when you say co-located, it is still your own data center, your own equipment and everything, but you're hosting it somewhere with the data center provider, wherein they are taking care of the physical security of your data center. They are also making sure that you have uninterrupted power supply, you have proper environment controls, cooling, heating, ventilation, and everything. And they are providing you the internet access. So let's say I have one of this scenario wherein I have multiple cabinets running my different servers, network equipments, and I have connectivity to the internet. This is just internet, okay? Now, when you have this environment, okay, when it is on-prem, it makes sense that it will be actually like you're having your own data center within the office facility, your organization's office facility, and you're accessing the service. This will be through the LAN connectivity, right? Local area network. So you'll be having either wired access or wireless access, isn't it? So either you access your services through a wired connectivity, a LAN connection, or through a wireless connectivity. And you can access your services locally in the data center. Now, in this scenario, just sticking to this particular scenario, do you see any cloud deployment model here or cloud service model in action?
No.
There's no cloud deployment or there's no cloud service model here. It's a traditional way of running your IT infrastructure, having your on-premises data center and running your own servers, maintaining it, making sure that it is available, accessible, and secured. And your users are accessing the services. And in this scenario, you also have, for example, some branch offices. You have a branch, and there are users sitting here, and they also access your services. For this kind of setup, you might need a connectivity between your branch office and the head office or the headquarters, whatever kind of connectivity it is. It is whether through a fiber cable running between your offices, or it is through a satellite connection, or you name it. I'm just telling you that there is a connectivity between these two offices available, and the users are accessing the services from on-prem data center. Does this involve any cloud concept, cloud model, or the service model?
No, we don't have elasticity,
We still,
scalability,
we still,
flexibility, nothing. Yeah,
we don't
nothing.
have any of this,
Yeah.
right? We don't have any, we don't see any cloud model here in action, neither the service cloud service model. Let's move on. Okay, so now, as an organization, what I'm doing is I'm going to subscribe for Office 365 services. Okay, I don't want to now the expense, the number of users are growing, and the infrastructure is not able to cope up with the requirement, complete requirement. So the more number of users you have, the more resource you need on your compute network and storage, right? So Office 365, particularly email services, let's say I want to make use of email services from Microsoft. So this is Microsoft Cloud providing the Office 365 services. So let's say I have 100 users, 100 plus users. They are still part of my local network. They have their laptops or desktops. There are some mobile users as well who are always roaming, and I mean, some user profiles like marketing, sales, they'll be always on the field, right? So these are mobile users. So with this introduction of Office 365 services, I don't have any sort of connectivity established between the office and my on-prem data center. So what I'm doing is I'm just providing the mailboxes for users. That means email addresses. I'm creating their email addresses so that they can log into their Exchange, their Outlook, or Outlook Web Access, and access the email services and exchange the email with other users in the organization or the whole world. So this is not just for the mobile users. Even the users who are sitting in here are using this Office 365 services. Now, which cloud model, deployment model, or service model is in action here? Do I
The
have any
software as a
cloud?
service, right?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
No,
sorry.
please continue.
Uh, I didn't hear that clearly. I'm sorry.
No, please continue. Please complete your
Yeah,
question.
my question is, which cloud deployment model is here in this scenario, and which cloud service model is in here?
The service model is software as a service, correct?
Perfect. That's a good answer. Oh, sorry. So this is software as a service, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what else you see here? Anyone else?
Software as a service with hybrid environment.
Oh, there's no hybrid environment here.
Sorry.
Public cloud.
Okay.
Public cloud.
How do you call it as a hybrid environment?
It's a software as a service model. Yeah.
I'm purely using Office 365 services for the email service. Rest all the applications and everything is running in my on-premises data center. No matter how the users access it, whether internally through my network, from the branch office, or from outside the organizations using the VPN technology or whatever. So in this scenario, I'm only making use of software as a service, cloud service model, only this one. I still don't have any cloud deployment model in here. This is not there. This is there. Clear? Now, what is the challenge you might see here? You see that you have your own data center, right? Wherein you are running multiple applications, you are having your own Active Directory domain controller, you have your own application servers, everything running on-prem perfectly fine. You don't have any issues. But with the introduction of Office 365 software as a service model, you have introduced a new service in your IT portfolio. And this is completely independent. So that means now your users are having problem particularly. What is the problem? They have a username and password for accessing on-prem services, and they also have a username password for accessing Office 365 services. This is one of the challenge for the users, right? And for the admins, they also have the similar challenge. They are maintaining and managing the on-prem data center, as well as they have to take care of Office 365 platform, which is provisioned as software as a service. So there has to be an admin who will be provisioning the mailboxes, creating mailboxes, configuring the email addresses, and so on. Right? So this is a software as a service we are just using, but this makes it more complex for the users as well as for the administrators to handle the environment. So here, it really makes sense to have a common username and password, which you also call it as single sign-on scenario, wherein users doesn't have to maintain two different username and passwords for uh, different services from for on-prem and for Office or the cloud service. So we in this scenario, it makes sense to have it as a hybrid cloud model. So what do you have to do for the hybrid cloud model? I'm not going to adopt which cloud model will fit in here. First of all, that's the question for you guys. I told you, gave you the answer already, but do you just think if there's any other cloud model which can fit in this requirement? I want to simplify the user access and their usability. Anyone? Which cloud model is suitable and uh, which fits in this requirement? What I have here. Can you call it as? Can you make it as a private cloud? Yes or no? I just need a yes or no from you guys. Can we deploy a private cloud in this scenario to simplify this complexity and making sure that we achieve what we are looking for? It cannot be. It cannot be a private cloud because you are running a traditional data center and you're consuming the cloud service, one of the cloud service. So it cannot become a private cloud because your users are using the public services. Office 365 service is publicly available and accessible to everyone. So you cannot call it as a private cloud. Can you call it as a public cloud purely? No, you can't because it's not even purely a public cloud service because you're not using infrastructure in the cloud, right? You're just using the one of the service model of the cloud. You're just utilizing the software as a service model. So it's not again purely a public cloud service because your users are accessing both the services, on-prem services as well as the cloud services, software as a service. So the only option remains here is the hybrid cloud model. So what we can do is we can establish a connectivity from our on-prem data center with the cloud, with the Microsoft cloud, and there are multiple options for doing that. You can either connect it through a technology called VPN site-to-site connectivity. We'll be learning this, and we can also see in practical how we can do this. And you also have something called express route. You'll have more explanation about this later, but I'm just explaining you the connectivity options available to turn this environment, my on-prem data center and cloud service together, making sure that the users have common credentials to access the services, whether they are in the office or outside the office or anywhere in the world. So this, with the help of this connectivity between your on-premises data center and Office 365, you're turning your compute model, the deployment model, to hybrid cloud model, right? This is one of the scenario uh, where you can call it as a hybrid cloud model. Now, what happens in this? You have the domain controller locally, which has all the usernames and passwords for your users, and you're synchronizing those users over your site-to-site connectivity or Express Route connectivity with the Office 365 tenant. Remember, it's a multi-tenant concept again. So they create a tenant for you when you take the Office 365 services, wherein you can either create your own usernames and user accounts in the mailboxes, or you can synchronize all the users which are here in on-prem domain controller to Office 365. So if I have a username John in my Active Directory, I have a user called Suzanne. So these users will be visible in the cloud once I have my users synchronized to Office 365. So now what will happen? Now for the end users, it will be a single sign-on scenario. So they don't have to use two different credentials for accessing on-premise services as well as Office 365 services. Rather, they can use a single username and password to access both the services in this deployment model. So this is the perfect scenario wherein you can call it as a hybrid cloud. Is this clear, Ahmed? I think
Can you
Ahmed
again
slept after
explain that
lunch.
connection? I'm a little confused.
Yeah, sorry. What was that? The connection?
I mean, how you said on the on-prem server they don't have to double validate it; they can do it only once on the cloud itself. That's how the
Yeah,
hybrid is going to work.
right,
Can you
right.
explain that, like how it works on on-prem and how it is different in cloud? I'm a
Yeah.
little confused.
See, what happens is I'll tell you. Let's say this is a user, okay, my internal users. When he's in the office, he's in office, sitting in the same premises as where I have a data center. Okay, I have my servers here, and I have an application server which these users use. Either it is a desktop user, laptop user, whatever it is. They have connectivity to this applications through the network. Okay, they have there'll be a domain controller which maintains all the username and passwords, a centralized identity repository, you can call it identity repository. Okay, that's your central identity service. So as a user, I log in with my username and password, which is provided by my admin, right? So this is a very generic scenario wherein you use some kind of credentials, right, to log into your laptop or desktop. So this is a typical scenario. Now, what we have done is we have taken Office 365 services. So in this service, what happens? Microsoft creates a tenant. We'll see how it is done, wherein you have to create your own username and passwords. So I'm using this for email service particularly, for example. I don't have an email server locally. There's no email server. Let's say I don't have an email server. Or if I have a mail server, I can still use this and Office 365 service both together as well. So that gets complex. I'm just trying to make it simple for you so that you understand how this works. So this is what I have. So if there is a user, for example, in my identity database, I have a user called John. This user can, he knows about his username and password. He logs into the system. He can access the internal application, whatever you're running. Okay. That's your
Okay.
application, for example, application portal. Now, With the introduction of Office 365, now here what I have done is I have taken a email service. I have created a username and password for John. So he has to use, this is a separate username, right? Which is used for accessing internal applications. Now he has to connect over the internet to Office 365. But in this case, this username password will not work here. So he has to use a separate username and password, which is created over the Office 365 tenant over here.
Okay, okay.
So he got two set of credentials to access the service. So instead of that, what we are doing is, if you want to try make it easy for users and also have a control on your identity database and services, you will do a connectivity between Microsoft and your on-prem data center. So in this scenario, you don't create the users here on the Office 365 tenant. Okay. You have user account here for John already. This will be synchronized. So once you have this hybrid cloud connectivity, there's something called sync. You can do AD sync, Active Directory sync.
Okay, so this is like using Exchange instead of Enter ID.
Exactly.
All
Exchange
right, got
online,
it,
you
got
can
it.
say. So you got the same credentials here, and this user now can access on-prem services as well as the Office 365 services with the same set of user credentials. Is that clear
Understood.
now? Yeah.
Perfect, it's clear.
Okay. Anyone else? Can we carry on? I guess yes. So let's see.
Oh,
Yes.
I have doubt.
Yes. Go ahead.
I didn't get this
You didn't get this?
thing.
I'll explain you later, maybe. Yeah.
Yes,
Let's
okay.
let's carry on. That's not a doubt. You
So, Maksud bhai, I have one more thing.
yes.
So as you explained here, so we got a SaaS. Okay.
Hmm.
When we got the SaaS, there should be a definitely nowadays in the we require VPN. So
VPN.
without VPN,
You don't need the VPN for SaaS. See, that is why the cloud service is famous, right? When you say cloud service, it is openly accessible over the internet without needing any VPN as such, without needing any additional technology for the end users. You
so,
got my
but in
point?
this, what you explain, what you
Hmm.
are trying to explain, and what you are exposing here, the username
Hmm.
same here we have to use, and same thing we are using there. So the
Hmm.
username password will get exposed. So if
Synchronized.
you, yeah, synchronize.
Yes, not
So
exposed.
how to overcome this?
Overcome? What overcome? Overcome what?
Like how to avoid this?
Why you want to avoid that?
So I don't want to share the username and password to Office 365 tenant.
That's your own tenant. It's managed by you. It's secured by you. I mean, it's not exposed to the cloud service provider. They can't see
Hmm.
what user accounts you have, what credentials you are running.
Okay, okay. So you
It's a
told
pure.
about VPN, right? So I confused
Now
actually. So what
VPN,
we
I
are
told you
discussing.
to have a connectivity between your on-prem and the cloud.
Okay, okay,
You got my point.
okay, okay.
VPN, I told you for the end user, if it is a traditional data center and you have a remote user who is carrying his laptop going from one place to other place, in order to access your on-prem services, he has to use some technology to connect to your on-prem data center, right?
Okay.
And that's a client to site VPN, what we call.
Yes,
But
yes,
in the
understood.
cloud, you don't need the VPN. Your cloud services are available over the internet through a very common application, which is a browser, your internet browser,
Yes.
right? That's why it is called a cloud service. Clear?
Okay, okay, clear.
Okay, let's carry on with the presentation. We have few more concepts to cover. I'm sharing the screen from other side again. Okay. Let me know if you are able to see the presentation.
Yes.
All right, so we'll be learning these next things, architecture components that will. Do we have Sujini? I hope you are following us and able to understand what I'm explaining?
Yes, sir, I can understand.
You might be needing some extra explanation. You can definitely research, do some research on your own as well.
Yes, sure.
It will enforce your knowledge, definitely.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so let's carry on with the architectural components. We have something called, okay, let's walk through. There's a walkthrough here. Create an Azure account. Did anyone create the account? Azure account? Anyone?
No.
Okay, let's create one account here.
Oh, a while ago,
Okay,
but I'm not sure if I've did it correctly, so I have
yeah,
to do it
let's
again.
do that together. I guess you are only able to see my presentation, not the full screen. Let me stop this. Stop sharing. 1 second. Okay, that's good. Right. So you have an option here to create an account to access the Azure services. Try Azure for free. Now, in order to do the labs, you have two options actually. One is the trial account, which you can create over here. Let's create one account. This one.
Can we use our Gmail here?
Sorry,
Can we use our Gmail here for using?
Gmail. Just try. You can follow what I'm doing. I'll share this link in the chat. So just follow the steps and get your Azure account created. Put in the chat. Okay, we are updating our terms. That's fine. Next. I already have the account, Hotmail account. So you either need a Hotmail account or Outlook account or Microsoft Live account, one of the account which you can use to register for Azure access. So once you have the account, that was actually sign in option. You can go for sign in option, or you have to sign up with the sign up option here. Sign up here. Pay as you go, Azure free account. So you can see here, it is free. You get monthly free amount of 20 plus popular services for 12 months. But you need a credit card here to subscribe for this, or a debit card also works.
But it will be
So
valid for only 1 month, is it, sir? This account will be free account.
no, this account is valid for, you can see here, free. Okay, you have 12 months of free services. Certain services are
12
free.
months. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, sir.
12
12
months.
Okay.
Certain services are free. Free monthly amount of 65 plus always free service, including Azure AI. Access to full catalog of services up to free amount and $200 credit. Spending protection. Okay, credit card won't be charged. No upfront commitment. Cancel anytime and move to pay-as-you-go pricing after your trial period ends. Okay, beyond 30 days. Okay, beyond 30 days or after credit is used. So there are two conditions here. If you consume all $200 worth of services from Azure, you'll be charged immediately for the services or after 30 days, right? Yes, continue beyond 30 days. So you have to pay for services whatever you use after 30 days if you consume this credit. If you don't consume this service, this will be valid for 12 months. 200 credit to use on Azure services within 30 days. I'm sorry, it is only valid for 30 days. So this will be good enough for your practices, I'm sure. So you have to create this account. So if you have not done it, do that please. And
I believe we have an Azure Learners account that's specifically for only those trying to learn this. I mean,
which one?
I created it using that
Which
long
account?
ago. When you're trying to sign into Azure, when you're learning for fundamentals, I was trying to get that. Microsoft Writers have few courses for fundamentals training. In that
Correct.
case, they will allow you to take it's like a sandbox account where you can,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just to
I'll
try.
come to that. You have sandbox and access also available, but you can't practice all the labs in that. There's a
Okay.
limitation. You have certain services which are restricted and which are not available in the sandbox environment. You
Okay.
understand
All
what I'm
right.
saying? Yeah. So you
I
can create
understand.
this account later. You just will see it after completing the sessions. So yeah, you have an option. There are two options actually available. One is either you subscribe for the trial period, which gives you access to all the services of Microsoft Azure platform. So irrespective, whatever service you want to run, you can do that. But you have to make sure that you stay in your free credit limit. You can set those controls as well, so that you don't get surprise charges after you finish your credits. And the second option is the sandboxing option, what you're saying. Yes, there are certain options available, certain labs available, which you can practice in the sandboxing environment. That means it's an open platform. I mean, you don't have to pay for it. You don't have to even provide your card details for accessing that sandboxing environment. We'll see that. When we go through the labs, we'll definitely get into the learning sandbox. Okay, now it's very important again to remember the terminology and the components of Azure platform. So regions, it has a concept of regions, not just Azure, but all the cloud providers have similar concepts. So Azure offers more global region than any other cloud provider, with 60 plus regions representing over 140 countries. I'm not sure we can validate if that is really true because now Azure is having big competition from Amazon and as well as Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. Oracle has also come into the cloud business, so they are also competing with Microsoft Azure, and they are also having very good presence in throughout the globe. So you can say regions are made up of one or more data centers in close proximity. That means one region, for example, if you just maximize this, let me see this. It's getting blurred. So anyway, let's pick up one region, for example. You see here in North, this is as per the map, I understand that this is North America, and this is one of the region for Azure. That means they have a data center there, one or more than one. You got my point? It can be a single data center or it can be multiple data centers within the same country. So that is called a region. Like in UAE, we have two data centers for Microsoft Azure, one in Dubai and one in Abu Dhabi. So data centers within the close proximity, that's what it is. It means. You understand the point here? So if you relate this to UAE, we have a Azure data center in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi. So that together becomes a region. So UAE as a region. So when you are creating your Azure resources, it is really important where you place your resource in which region, because the pricing model differs from region to region. So for example, a virtual machine which you create in Azure region, in Azure UAE region, it might cost you 1,000 dirhams a month. I'm just giving you rough figures and just for an example, the same virtual machine, let's say if you're creating in United States, and one of the regions of there, you can see that United States is a big country and it has many Azure regions. That means within a city, you might be having two data centers of Azure, or within a state, you can say. Within one state, you have two data centers. So the same virtual machine, if you create in this region, you will see when you access the Azure portal, when you're creating the VM, or any resource in Azure, it will prompt you to choose the region, and that's one of the mandatory field while you're creating the Azure resources. So without selecting the region, you can't proceed. So it now how would you define the region? Which region you will choose? What parameters you need to look into when you need to how you choose the region basically. Okay, what is the reason? We'll see that they provide flexibility and scale to reduce customer latency. This is the very important point when selecting the region. Let's say I'm a UAE company, for example, I'm Noon.com. I'm providing the e-commerce services to the customers mainly residing in within the UAE, that is UAE region. Now, does it make sense for me to go ahead and choose US as a region to deploy my virtual machine or to deploy my web server or a database server? Because the moment you deploy the services here, now the connectivity, how the traffic will flow, you know that. You're sitting in UAE, and when you're accessing Noon.com, the traffic is going to the United States, and it goes through multiple channels, right? Through fiber optic cable, through satellite connectivity, whatever it is. But there is a delay. There will be a delay. There will be a latency. Latency is called delay in accessing the services. So it depends on uh, your requirement, where your customer base is. If you are building a website for the users in the United States, it makes sense to choose the region as a United States while deploying your web server. It doesn't really make sense to choose India as a region to deploy your web server. Understand my point? And there's the third point, if you look at, that's a really real key factor in defining or selecting the region. Regions preserve data residency. Okay, that means your data resides within that particular region. So there are requirements, the compliance requirement for specific countries, which are governed by which are defined by the governments, and that any data relating to their citizens should not be placed in any other data center in the world. For example, let's take an example of EU, European Union, right? They have come up the what is the European Union? You know that it's a combination of multiple European countries, which is called as EU, European Union, and they have come up with a compliance policy called GDPR. Okay, I don't remember exactly what the full form stands for. We can quickly look for that. It's relating to the data residency policies, GDPR. Okay, General Data Protection Regulation is an EU law that protects the personal data and privacy of individuals in the European Union. So if you are building an application, if you are building a system on the cloud which handles this information, what personal information of the user, their identities like the PII, it is called personal identifiable information, the person's date of birth, their nationality, their residency, all of this comes under the umbrella of PII, personal identifiable information. With that information, you can actually identify a particular person in the world. So, relating to that information, EU says the information should not be or must not be stored anywhere outside EU. So that's where you choose the region. This is why all the cloud service providers, they have their data centers in different regions of the world. Is that clear? So what you need to remember is some key points. Regions are made up of one or more data centers within the close proximity, because in exam you have to remember that. They provide flexibility, right, and reduce the latency for the users. And regions preserve data residency. These are the key factors of choosing the region. Now, after that, we come to a concept called availability zones. What is availability zone? You can see that there are three availability zones here in one region. So this is one region. It has three availability zones. That means an availability zone is nothing but a data center, physical data center of the cloud service provider. So that's what it says here. Physical separate location within an Azure region. That means nothing but a data center availability zone. It is referred to as availability zone. You can't definitely see the term data center within a region in the exam and in the terminology. You call it as availability zone. Takes availability sets to the next level. That what does it mean? Now, if you have a traditional data center, it won't be connected to other data centers. When you call it as availability zone, that means all these three data centers are connected with the high speed fiber optic cables. There's a high speed connectivity between all these three data centers. That becomes availability zone. Includes one or more data centers equipped with independent power, cooling, and networks. That's what exactly I literally meant. Each availability zone is nothing but a data center with its own equipment for power, cooling, and networking. Acts as an isolation boundary. Uh, I don't really understand what it means here. We'll see that. If one availability zone goes down, the other continues working. So I'm deploying a web server. I'm selecting the region called UAE region while deploying deploying my virtual machine. Now, it depends on what level of service you take from the cloud service provider. If you say that you want 99.99% availability, then your web server, you cannot have just one single virtual machine. You have to deploy your multiple virtual machines and those should be available across the data centers, availability zones. So if your server goes down, the other servers are available across different regions. And even there are different level of SLAs. We'll talk about that later. It won't make much sense discussing it here. So what does it do? Availability zone provides protection against downtime due to data center failure. Physical separate data center within the same region. Each data center is equipped with independent power, cooling, and networking. Connected through private fiber optic networks. So that is important. So these three data centers, the connectivity, what they do is all maintained and done by this cloud service provider. So that's how the availability zone is built. Then there's a concept of region pairs. Okay, what does it mean? At least 300 miles of separation between region pairs. So you will see more regions. For example, you see that United States in the US itself, you have multiple regions. So the blue dot, the solid blue dot is nothing but availability zone, available region actually region, and then you have I can't really read this one. Availability zone. Let's discuss that. We'll understand more. Okay, regions. Automatic replication for some services, prioritizing region recovery in the event of outages. Updates are rolled out sequentially to minimize downtime. We have a link here. Let's see what we can see through that. Physical infrastructure. Yeah, this is what is explaining the same thing. Availability zones, Azure region and availability zones. Region pairs. Yeah, this is what it means. So it's a geographic region. Within that region, you have multiple regions. So if it is a United States as a big country, you have one region in one of the city of the country and in another city with the close proximity of 300 miles. That's what they say, close proximity. So you have Azure regions within the same geographical location. Okay, so that's what it says. Then we also have paired regions. So paired regions, You can pair the regions for high availability. This will make sense when we are deploying the virtual machines. You'll have an option to choose single region or multiple regions. Then I'll explain you on the whiteboard. Then you will understand what exactly the region pairs means. So for now, we'll just move on. Azure seven regions, US government services, as I explained you already in the seven cloud model. So it meets the security and compliance needs of US federal agencies, state and local governments, and their solution providers. So this is dedicated for governments. The Azure 7 cloud is only for government entities. 7 regions as well. You have China. There is a dedicated Azure region available for China itself. A public cloud, particularly public cloud, even not just the government cloud, even the public cloud there is a dedicated public cloud for China, so that it's to make sure that the Chinese data doesn't go out of the region. So Azure maintains its own data center within that region, and they provide this access to the Azure region only for the Chinese people within the region. Okay, here we have Azure Global Infrastructure. Let's explore what we have, what we see here in the link. All right. This is a nice view. Map. So this is what you see here. Different regions in different countries. So if I come down here to UAE, there are two regions here. In UAE, there's UAE North is there, and you can see location, data residency. This is region with availability zones. That means they have uh, one or more data centers in here. Stored at rest in the United Arab Emirates. Availability zone. It was open available with 3 zones. This explains you that Azure UAE North region has 3 physically separated data centers with a high speed connectivity available in this region in UAE North. Okay, and here it gives you the compliance information of the data center. SOC 3, SOC 2, SOC 1, these are all the compliance regulations required for a cloud service provider. That this is what the assurance is. This tells that okay, the cloud service provider is maintaining and securing the customer's information, their accessibility, availability, and the integrity of the data of the customers. Right? Any questions so far? And the regions? I think this is where we'll stop today, and we'll continue the rest tomorrow. So this will make more sense when you start your labs, where you have an option to choose where you want to deploy your web server. So I gave you an example. I hope that is clear. Deploying a web server, you want to deploy or build a web server for UAE region for users in UAE, but you're deploying the server in one of the US region. That really doesn't make any sense, and it will increase the latency, the accessibility of the website. And recently, you have seen there were multiple incidents of fiber connectivity disruptions across the regions, right? There were some services which were down due to the fiber cables cut under the sea, which are running through under the sea. So these lines, what you see, are nothing but the fiber connectivity between different countries and the regions. So also makes sense when to choose the local region when you're deploying your resources. If it is meant for UAE users, you should build and choose your resources within UAE. Okay, that brings us to the end of this session today. And I hope it's all clear. If you have any questions, please feel free. or add any comments.
All clear from my side. If
Okay,
possible,
perfect.
can you just give